I'm Meredith with Extreme Terrain. Today I'm talking with Kevin about his YJ. You have a 1995 Jeep Wrangler Rio Grande. You have the 16 by 8 inch Mammoth Boulder simulated beadlock style black wheels with a 0mm offset. You have the Supreme Suspensions 1-inch Pro Billet wheel spacers, the 35 by 12.5 inch R16, Mickey Thompson Baja MTZ P3 tires, and the Rough Country 4.5 inch X Series suspension lift kit with the military wrap springs, as well as the 3-inch body lift. Can you tell me why you chose this setup or this combination?
I chose this setup because I feel like it was a really clean setup for like a daily driver. It handles pretty well with the spacers. Before, when I put the lift kit and the wheels, I didn't have spacers. And without the spacers, it felt a little bit shaky down the road as you drove. So once I went with the billet spacers, like it's a day and night difference.
You kind of mentioned daily driver. Is this mainly daily driver or do you take it off-road as well? It's super clean, so I don't know.
Well, it's a daily driver, like from work and back home. Do a couple groceries sometimes. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty clean. I do take it off road. However, I try to keep it mostly on the road since it's an older build and not beat on it as much. But it has gone off road before.
So let's start with the wheels. Again, for everybody watching at home, Kevin has the 16 by 8 Mammoth Boulder simulated beadlock style wheels with a 0mm offset. Why did you choose this particular wheel?
I chose that particular wheel because it gives it a nice clean look with the machine lip and the matte black on the spokes in the inside, because I have mostly like black accessories on the Jeep with like the metallic silver factory paint, and it looks pretty nice. It used to have chrome trims as well, but I didn't like the chrome trim on the Jeep, so I went with the black, theme accessories, and the wheels, they make a difference on it.
Can you tell me why you chose Mammoth specifically? Is it just because they kind of have what you were looking for, or was there another reason behind that choice?
I feel like Mammoth was like the most particular wheel that caught my attention. They had everything, and the wheel width, the machine lip, like I said, like everything was up to my preference. So
now, why did you choose the sizing? So you have a 16 by 8 inch wheel. Is there a particular reason you didn't go with a 17 or even a 15?
Yeah, I chose the 16 because the 16, the wheel was gonna be like, you were gonna be able to look at it and be like, okay, the rim is a decent size. But then also, like, when you put the 35 on it, like, it gave me that higher profile between the wheel and the tire, just in case I have to air down on the trail or something.
Now, you mentioned the sidewall size. So you're happy with the 16-inch wheel and the 35-inch tire as far as the sidewall is concerned?
It creates a good gap for the flexing and everything, so it kind of suits it well.
The 8-inch width of the wheel paired with the 0mm offset and the 1-inch spacers give the Jeep an aggressive stance. Why did you go with that size combo?
I went with that size mainly because of the handling on the road. Like when you're trying to switch a lane, like the Jeep felt a little bit shaky without the spacers, and makes the wheel pop out even more, so you get more handling out of the car than before.
How do you like this stance versus the stock stance?
I like the stance because I feel like for off-road and even for on the road, it makes the Jeep look like a Jeep. Like the factory stance, when I bought the Jeep, it didn't even have the original wheels, which are really small for a YJ, and it was 31s, but it's still, it was still way too low for me. I didn't like how it looked like stock like that. I bought the tires and I bought the wheels, and I just decided, since I lifted, I'm gonna just go with the tires and the wheels from now, because there's no way I'm gonna drive it like that on the road.
Now, let's kind of get into the tires since we're talking about them. Again, for everybody watching at home, Kevin has the 35 by 12.5 inch R16 Mickey Thompson Baja MTZ P3 tire. Why did you choose this tire?
I chose Mickey Thompson because I've always liked it. I feel like it performs great. A lot of professional people that have Jeeps and stuff, they use Mickey Thompson, and it's a really good tire. As performance-wise and quality-wise, Mickey Thompson's one of the best ones out there.
Now, why did you go with the 35? You said the 33 was just a little small for your taste?
Yeah, the 33 was gonna be a little bit too small, and also as far as the gearing, my fifth gear was way too short, so my RPMs as I cruised down the road, they were somewhat high, so I wanted to lower it down with a bigger wheel as well, because I wasn't planning on re-gearing at all. I mean, I didn't have to either way. I was just looking for my RPMs to go down as well. So the 35s, they really helped out with that.
Now, why did you go with a mud terrain over an all-terrain?
But I went with the mud terrain because where I live in Florida, I mean, it's always sandy. So when you go in the sand, there's like also mud and rainy season here. So the mud terrains, like if you have to go through anything like that, like the mud terrains really help. And also because it makes the Jeep look aggressive as well. Some people say the mud terrains are kind of like, they vibrate a lot and like they cause a lot of noise, but I haven't really had any issues with them.
So there's no like excessive humming or any like feedback in the wheel from the tires?
I don't believe so. Just like a normal noise, but it's not nothing that, you know, it will drive you like insane.
Now, how do they feel compared to the wheels that you had on before?
Off-road, they didn't feel like they were capable pretty much of handling sand or nothing, even if you air them down. The mud terrains, they do feel a little bit more stable, like when you're cruising. The other ones were way too thin. The Jeep had no like stability when you were like driving it. It was like all over the place, even though it wasn't lifted at that time. Yeah, it definitely drives better than before.
Did you have to do any like recalibration when upgrading to the larger tire?
I was supposed to change the Speedo gear in the transfer case, I believe. I still haven't done that, but I know like when I'm cruising at a certain speed, like there's always like 5 miles of room, you know, that I'm going over what it says in the odometer.
Do you have any like power issues with the big heavy tire?
The wheels are aluminum, so it's not a lot of weight difference. I feel like the stock JK wheels that were on it, they were like steel, so they were even heavier than the actual Mammoth wheels with the 35s. So they're pretty light as far as like being big in size. But I feel like I take it out in first gear and it doesn't seem to bog or anything. It shifts pretty smooth.
Let's get into some of the suspension since we were talking a little bit about it. So again, you have the Rough Country 4.5-inch X Series suspension lift kit with the military wrap springs and the 3-inch body lift. Why did you choose this kit in addition to the kit that already came on the Jeep when you bought it?
I chose a 4.5-inch lift because it was gonna give me that extra height that I needed, also for the tires, because I had them in mind way before I even put the lift. And I said this lift kit is gonna suit me well. I didn't go with a 6-inch lift because I thought it was gonna be a little bit too much for a daily driver with the body lift that it already has. So it was gonna be like 9 inches of lift. That sounded really like way too much. You know, I was gonna have to go wider as spacer wise, like 2 inches or something, and I didn't want to go that wide as like spacing. So I just left it at a 4.5 with the 3-inch, and it's accommodated pretty well. Also the lift kit, it's a pretty sturdy lift kit. Like you don't feel like the Jeep is all over the place with that lift kit or anything.
Now, did you have any fitment issues with the wheels and tires and the suspension?
I did have to make a couple changes as far as like the drive shafts to accommodate like over a 4-inch lift. As far as rubbing issues or fitment issues, I didn't really have any issues at all.
How do you like the way that it looks with this entire combination?
I'm loving the way it looks right now. It definitely attracts a lot of attention when I'm out with it. You know, people don't believe me that it's a daily driver. They think I just take it out on the weekends or something. I'm like, I literally daily drive this thing every day.
Yeah, I mean, it looks fantastic. Now, do you have any future plans for the Jeep?
I'm pretty happy how it's coming out. I still have a lot of things in mind for it still, so it's not even remotely done yet. Little by little, it's coming there.
So again, you have the 1995 Jeep Wrangler Rio Grande. You have the 16 by 8-inch Mammoth Boulder simulated beadlock style black wheels with a 0mm offset. You have the Supreme Suspensions 1-inch Pro Billet wheel spacers, the 35 by 12.5-inch R16 Mickey Thompson Baja MTZ P3 tires, and the Rough Country 4.5-inch X Series suspension lift kit with the military wrap springs, as well as the 3-inch body lift. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with me, sharing your build with me, and for all things Jeep, remember to keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.